Hey y'all, Whisper here. Just gonna do a quick review of uh Ant and NFox's VOD review here. They're asking for a few notes in the coaching channel. So I just thought I'd hop in and do this real casually on video. So
Yeah, your shots.
my first note I have is you give away your position very early on this third party. You're entering Skyhook and you see this fight happening right here and you decide you want to be a part of it. So you're using a 3 times scope, but you are using a 301, and the 301 is not going to harass all that well from this kind of distance. It doesn't have very high damage. It has a high rate of fire, which makes it more deadly. So you take a few shots here, and now the element of surprise is gone. They know another team is now coming from this direction, which is east. And you also make a little mistake here that comes back to bite you later, is you forget to reload. You have all this time while you go from here all the way to here to reload your gun, and you don't, and it's gonna bite you a little bit, but not as bad as it could have. So you run up.
Can't get a visual on the enemy.
I like the comms, and you're getting ready for this thermite. Now, this is essentially a blind thermite toss. We know they're in the building, and you're trying to. It seems like you're trying to aim within the building, but you are so far from where you're throwing it that you're not gonna get much value from throwing this thermite. You're right here, and you're throwing it at the building that's right here, or here. I believe it's this one actually. Yeah, it's this one. You're throwing towards this one. By the time the few seconds of thermite is up, you're not gonna be able to engage on that too hard. So here goes the thermite. It's essentially blind because they're not out in the open, and you're still pretty far to follow up on it. And here we go. You finally engage on one of them. You throw a second thermite. This thermite is way better. Like, you're blocking off this front path, and your shield gets broken at the same time. The enemy can't really safely push with this thermite that's going to be in their way. And use it really well in combination with her Bangalore's passive to get around this corner to heal. I like that. So right here, you take shots at this lifeline here, which is fine, but you have little information now to work with also, because there are extra shots you don't hear, and they're not coming from this lifeline. And the lifeline's gonna shoot to her left or your left at another team. This should indicate to you that this is you are the third party that's coming into this. So you can choose to play this in a variety of ways. You can choose to push on the Bangalore, which seems to be by herself, or you can push on the other team, but you don't have too much information. You do have the information that you are now the third party, though, and that changes the dynamic of the fight a little bit. This is where you forgetting to reload bites you, because you could have gotten this down right here, and you ran out of ammo, especially with the lifeline not even looking at you, and she gets hit by a smoke. You won't be able to finish it.
12.
Let's see. Alright, your next note comes up right here when you turn left, and you smoke and then run into the smoke. So you first ran into the enemy smoke, which don't do that. You're putting yourself at a very large disadvantage. You can no longer see in front of you what's happening all the way over here and what's happening in front of you. And you did another smoke using one of your smokes to then run into it and push into this area where you don't really know where the enemies are. You don't have an advantage in this fight, and you're essentially blinding yourself and not where all these enemies are, since you don't know where they are, to possibly run out of the smoke and get lit up immediately. try not to run into smoke unless you are certain it's going to benefit you. Try to use it instead defensively or to disengage. Or if you have a digital sight, which then you could make a huge advantage on this. Otherwise, you're essentially blinding yourself and running into a position where you don't know what's about to happen. So you survive the smoke and don't run into anybody. And we notice now where one of them is. They're on this little girder, these metal construction bits. And you take some damage here. You take 25, around 30, 40, 35-ish damage. Nobody has a clear indication. It's their enemy Bangalore, and they dip immediately. You don't have an advantage on this Bangalore, and this Bangalore doesn't want to be in this position, hence why they smoke and run immediately. So you've had a lot more time to just slow it down, take a breath, heal up your shield damage, and then try to engage again, because you don't have any big advantage just yet. You didn't hit the Bangalore at all. We don't know how much shields or health the Bangalore has, and you don't have a clear shot on them. So this is a prime opportunity for you to reload both your weapons, for you to get your shields, and to try to position yourself into a better position for a fight. Run this way. You hear them, you have the audio cues, you know where they are now, and you hear this door opening. I'm guessing you wanted to play offensively and just chase this guy, or at least try to set up a flank with NFox, which you attempt to do. But when you get out into this area, you know where the enemy is, and they pop out. You're out of cover, and once you see that door opening, that should be your indication of there's someone here. This is possibly about to turn into a fight. I'd rather see you use this cover instead, because now you're just standing in the open, and if that other guy's using their door, you can't shoot through that, and he has an escape option. But if you start losing the fight, you don't have an escape option nearby. You'd have to go left, and he just tracks you right to the corner, and you're going to get hit for a lot. The enemy is a little dumb and just runs straight out instead of using that advantage he had. And now you're having an aim fight with him. And you lose the aim fight because we didn't have any information on the Bangalore. You didn't know they had purple shields. And you're out of cover. You don't have like any backup option. Had you played this corner, once you took a few hits and your shields had popped, you could have went behind the cover, used the smoke, and used Bangalore's passive to get out of that situation completely. Because before you go down, you have one more smoke left. This is your one tool you have to disengage and save yourself from being downed entirely. But instead, you playing out of cover, you're just playing an aim duel, and now you're essentially just aiming at each other and hoping your shields are higher than theirs. And unfortunately, yours wasn't. You go down here, and that's a GG for you. Especially when they notice your gold shield. So next, we have NFox's view. So NFox makes a similar error, in my opinion, of using a nade very early right here. They use their frag right now. And they're doing a blind throw, which they can't get all that much advantage out of. Now, I mean, we all know that there were people in here. But from the distance NFox is throwing it, you're not going to be able to engage too hard on it, honestly. You're not going to get all that much value out of that single nade. And so, NFox starts playing off you. They don't commit to anything, they stay nearby. I like this. It's patient. You know, you don't have to force anything just yet.
12.
You guys almost get the down on the lifeline, but not quite because of the smoke protecting her. And Ant chooses to go forward and Night Fox is choosing to go to the side. Now, the big thing here I want to point out is consider your routing options going forward. You're now separating yourself from Ant, and you're trying to get a flanking position, which is not that bad. This is arguably not a terrible play, but this is here's another mistake right here. There's all this smoke already, and you're about to turn left to go in through the smoke and try to get a flank heading onto this building right here. Again, don't run into the smoke if you don't need to. If you don't have a digital threat, if you don't have a clear advantage in the fight already, you're essentially just blinding yourself and just giving yourself a disadvantage. Anybody who's outside of the smoke, they're going to be able to hear your footsteps and know you're in the smoke and will have a better shot than you will at them. But you choose to go left here. You go into the smoke a bit, then go through the smoke to reach the street level because you want to flank with Ant. What I would have liked to see instead is you going to the right and staying a little closer to Ant and going around the smoke through the courtyard where you know you have cover. Because instead you choose to go through the street right here. And there's not all that much cover around you, save for a car behind you. Ant goes down, and now you have to play this a little differently. You get lit up by the Bangalore. And rightfully so, you recognize you're in a disadvantage, and now you're about to wraith out of there. You're about to use your get out of free jail card, as it were. You're already super lit. The Bangalore has a big advantage on you of hitting all these shots and also having this higher ground than you, making it way harder for you to hit her. And you're going to back up and go in a straight line all the way to this car. And because it's a straight line, the Bangalore does not have to do all that much hard work on aiming or anything, and just waits for you to pop out and hits you right in the back of the head. What I would have preferred to see, let me find it, is you have this building right behind you. That building is one of them. Here we go. That was it right there. This building is one with stairs. It gives you height. You have the little hallway and this little corner to hide behind, and you have this corner to hide behind. Once you recognize you're on disadvantage, this is a shorter path for you, and it gives you much more cover than this car does, which does not cover your entire body. Your feet are going to be exposed. If you're not immediately behind this part already, your head is going to be exposed. I would have preferred to see you go this way. You recognize you're down a player now. And while being behind this cover, you can run away until you disengage enough to heal. And since you have your portal ready, once you're all healed up, you can portal to Ant's banner, grab his banner, and then get out of there and maybe revive him, because it's still really early in the game. You're still only on the first ring, but instead you go in the straight line, and you get killed for it because it's a very easy shot as opposed to halfway into your void walk being behind the stairs already. And right there is GG. So yeah, um, just consider your escape option beforehand, and yeah, that's about it. Thanks.